Alligator Alcatraz, Florida's controversial migrant facility, sparks debate. Occupy Flaw, a new migrant detention facility, officially named the Dade Collier Detention Center, but widely referred to as Alligator Alcatraz, is under construction at the remote Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport, 45 miles west of Miami. Located in the Florida Everglades, surrounded by wetlands and wildlife, the facility has ignited intense debate, drawing support from immigration hardliners and criticism from environmentalists, Native American tribes, and human rights advocates. With the first detainees expected to arrive by Tuesday, June 30, 2025, the project raises questions about immigration policy, environmental impact, and human welfare. Origins of the Dade Collier Detention Center. The facility is a key initiative of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has prioritized stringent immigration policies in alignment with the Trump administration's mass deportation goals. On June 18, 2025, Florida Attorney General James Uthmere announced the project during a televised appearance, highlighting the site's isolation in the Everglades. The facility's informal nickname, Alligator Alcatraz, reflects its remote location and the natural barriers posed by the surrounding wetlands, home to alligators, crocodiles, and invasive Burmese pythons. Situated on a 39-square-mile plot, the Dade Collier Airport features a 10,499-foot runway, previously used for military and law enforcement training. The runway's capacity for mid-sized jets suggests potential for direct deportation flights. Using emergency powers, DeSantis has accelerated construction, with crews working around the clock to erect heavy-duty tents and trailers. The facility, designed to hold up to 5,000 detainees, is expected to be operational within days, costing an estimated $450 million annually. The project is partially funded by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, through a migrant relief program. Some have questioned whether these funds were diverted from hurricane relief, but federal officials have clarified that the budget is separate, dispelling misinformation. Security and controversy. The Everglades' natural features make the facility highly secure. The surrounding wetlands, teeming with wildlife, create a formidable barrier to escape. Supporters, including Department of Homeland Security officials, argue that the site's isolation enhances security without requiring extensive infrastructure changes. The temporary nature of the facility, using tents and trailers, is presented as minimizing environmental disruption. However, the project has faced significant opposition. Environmental groups, immigration advocates, and the Miccosukee Indian tribe have criticized the facility, raising concerns about its impact on the Everglades and the treatment of detainees. On June 28, 2025, protesters gathered along the Tamami Trail near the airport, demonstrating against the project. The facility's location in a UNESCO World Heritage Site has intensified scrutiny, with opponents arguing it prioritizes political goals over human rights and ecological preservation. Environmental and cultural impacts. The Everglades is a biodiverse ecosystem, home to endangered species such as the Florida panther and American crocodile. Environmental organizations have filed a federal lawsuit in Miami, alleging that the project violates laws like the National Environmental Policy Act due to insufficient environmental reviews. The lawsuit, filed on June 27, 2025, seeks an injunction to halt construction, citing risks to the wetland's delicate ecosystem. The Miccosukee Indian tribe, whose ancestral lands lie in the Everglades, has also opposed the facility, describing it as a violation of their cultural heritage. The tribe argues that the project disrespects sacred land, adding a cultural dimension to the controversy. Environmental and tribal objections highlight the tension between immigration enforcement and the preservation of natural and cultural resources. Critics, including former state officials, have accused DeSantis of using the facility for political gain, framing it as a publicity move to bolster his national profile. The rapid construction and lack of public input have raised concerns about transparency and accountability, with some local leaders questioning the governor's use of emergency powers. Political implications. The Dade Collier Detention Center has strengthened Florida's role in advancing federal immigration policies. Department of Homeland Security officials have praised the state's initiative, noting that the facility will expand immigration and customs enforcement, ICE capacity to detain and process migrants. The project has also elevated the visibility of Attorney General Uthmere, whose public announcements have galvanized support among immigration hardliners. DeSantis has defended the facility as a necessary response to immigration challenges, emphasizing Florida's leadership in addressing what he describes as a national issue. The project aligns with broader Republican efforts to implement strict immigration measures, and the state party has capitalized on its visibility, promoting the initiative through merchandise and media campaigns. Humanitarian concerns. Immigration advocates have raised alarms about the facility's remote location and potential for harsh conditions. The Everglades' extreme environment, including heat, humidity, and wildlife, poses risk to detainees' well-being. Critics argue that the facility may house not only individuals with criminal records, but also asylum seekers and others with minor immigration violations, raising questions about fairness and due process. The lack of detailed information about the facility's operations has fueled concerns. Advocates worry about access to legal representation, medical care, and oversight in such an isolated location. The temporary setup, while presented as practical, has been criticized as inadequate for ensuring humane treatment, particularly for vulnerable populations. Ongoing developments. As the facility nears completion, the debate intensifies. The federal lawsuit filed by environmental groups represents a significant challenge with the potential to delay or halt the project. Construction continues, with images showing rows of tents and trailers surrounded by the Everglades' vast wetlands. The juxtaposition of modern infrastructure and untamed wilderness underscores the project's controversial nature. Supporters view the facility as a critical tool for immigration enforcement, arguing that its isolation and capacity will streamline deportations. Opponents, however, see it as a symbol of misguided priorities, threatening both the environment and human rights. The protests along the Tamiami Trail reflect growing public opposition, with demonstrators calling for the project's cancellation and greater accountability. Looking forward. The future of the Dade Collier Detention Center remains uncertain. If the lawsuit succeeds, construction could be paused, forcing a reevaluation of the project's environmental and legal compliance. Alternatively, if the facility opens as planned, it could become a cornerstone of the Trump administration's immigration strategy, setting a precedent for similar projects elsewhere. The controversy surrounding the facility encapsulates broader national debates about immigration, environmental protection, and cultural respect. As construction progresses and legal battles unfold, the Everglades has become a focal point for these issues, drawing attention from across the country and beyond. The outcome will likely have lasting implications. For now, the Dade Collier Detention Center stands as a flashpoint, embodying the complexities of balancing security, humanity, and environmental stewardship in a polarized era.